welcome here and to my little session. I'm going to cover 2 hours worth of data or information in 15 minutes, so hold on to your socks. Here we go. So I'm going to talk about using AI across the dev lifecycle. My name is Mattias Söderberg. It's a Swedish name. I work for GitLab, covering the Nordics. And I've had a couple of people come by our booth and say, "Oh, you're here in Sweden?" Yeah, we are. We're in the Nordics. Me and my colleague are here today. So, when I'm not doing this, I'm a heavy vinyl nerd. So I buy a lot of vinyl records, doing that all the time. So I was going to just start this off by talking a little bit about this. I'm from GitLab, so our life is DevSecOps. It's supporting DevSecOps engineers, dev people, security people in DevSecOps, and so on and so forth. And we do this every day, and we get some like top goals for a lot of organizations, people out there. And they are like one of the top ones are we want to make our developers more productive, more efficient. And another one is obviously to simplify the tool chain, because over time, you start with one open source software and then the next one and then the next one and then the next one. And then you have quite a bunch of stuff that you want to try to make sense of. Maybe using AI, like getting all the information from those tools. And then obviously secure the software chain, which is also something that we're going to get back to, because this has become a pretty crucial thing, letting AI into the dev space. It's turned out to be pretty heavy for the security people in the organization. And obviously then transform with AI, and that's why we're here today. So we did a little survey where we asked 5,000 or so people in dev, in sec, connected to dev, and also DevSecOps platform, about what are they doing in the AI space. And 78% said that we're already doing it on some level today, whether it's just one developer doing AI in the IDE, or they are actually looking into more of that. But this is also a thing that got us thinking about how AI is actually a pretty large disruptor, because it kind of changes the way we develop going forward. And changing the way we develop going forward also changes the things that we need to do after development. So all the things that need to happen after the code is in the repo or the Artifactory or the registry or whatever. So and I mean, so far, looking into the AI space, we see today, and maybe a hands up around that, because what I see is that a lot of the AI today is supporting the developer, right? Anyone agree? Yeah? So we started looking into what implications will that have further down the line. And we are starting to see, as this scales, as AI is more of a commodity in the dev space, we are starting to see the bottleneck. So the productivity goes up on the developers, but it kind of slows down further down the line. So the app is still brought into production at the same pace, because the people or the teams afterwards are having a hard time. And if we look at this, like how AI is making the developer more productive, and just take a look into this. When we asked these people, we came back with some numbers about how a developer actually develops and writes code 21% of the time in a day. And I talked to some people out here in our booth, and some said, that's high. And some said, well, that might be exaggerating it. I see 30%. And yet, if we look at AI in dev, it's actually 21% of the time of a developer that we are actually making more efficient, which is not a lot. And why is that? Well, if we look at development, so this is actually the dev team. So we have the developer, this guy. Oh, you can't see that. The guy in the red hat. That is the one we are making more efficient. The others around is trying to keep up with that person. So this is something that we saw that, oh, maybe we need to add AI on the other levels as well. So in security, in planning, in operations and stuff like that. So take care of all the stuff that comes out of the developer's productivity. So that is one of the things that we are talking a lot to our customers about. How do you go about doing that? And obviously you can do that in many ways. And also one thing that I want to point out, I have the end users over there as in the developer team. And that is one of the things that I kind of started looking into and thinking about. What if? I mean, we're an open source company. We take a lot of suggestions from people around the world by accepting issues into GitLab, where they propose, like, this is not functioning well, this could be better, could you change it to this? Imagine with the up and coming agentic AIs that an end user creates an issue just or creates a developer workflow just by creating an issue. The issue is picked up by the AI in the platform, and it starts a merge request. Oh, we say merge request, not pull request. So, but a PRMR. And then the workflow starts and goes. So that's why I put the end user in there. They might be our future developers just by sending ideas into the pipeline. So the challenge and the solution to all of this is to figure out what are you using out there, and then start connecting these dots. And these products may in and of themselves have AI solutions. So the tricky thing is, how do you get them to share the intelligence in between themselves and actually become productive? Well, usually when you are in this situation, the next step then would be to build your own agent or something that connects all the dots and summarize all of this and actually help you along the DevSecOps chain from plan to deploy. So a great solution is to base this on, first and foremost, some sort of automated DevSecOps flow. Everybody heard about a Git flow. We all have it in the business. Like, we have the GitLab flow, GitHub have their GitHub flow, and Git have the Git flow, and so on and so forth. And this is kind of the base for all of this. So we have an overarching AI that is contextually, and this might be that agent that you create yourself or get someone else to do for you. So we have a contextual aware chat, I said, but it could be anything. And that keeps track of the whole chain. So it has its fingers in all the steps, all the way. And that's where we start. So we can start asking that. So this epic, where does this end up in production, for example? And then it can give us that, and maybe you can ask it, is it optimal? Could we speed it up or whatever? And you get answers to that. And then to make it even more interesting, you start deep diving into this. How can I make every step of the way more efficient? So, for example, the people around the application architect or the program manager, how can you help them help the developers in a way? How can you help the organization uniform the issues, for example, so they are built in the same way? Well, why not use an AI and tell it through some template prompt that it should always look like this? Well, maybe depending on what you're developing, it should look this and that. For new developers that come in to a project, how do they go through an issue with, I don't know how many comments? I've seen some of the issues around the GitLab platform, and they go on sometimes for years, and they are still open, and we're still working on it. And I go in because I get a question, so how is this coming along? And why not just give them a button to summarize this for me? I can obviously go to the overarching chat and say, summarize this this issue for me, and it will do that. So, but by a button press in any of these, where that's how we see that maybe that's a way to take the load of a lot of people. And then we come to one of the things that is a major area of pulling your hair out, and that's security. Because what we see is that the developers are very productive. They get help from the AI, whether it's a dev tool or if it's an AI developer, agentic AI. So, but the quality of the code is not necessarily good, but it solves the problem. So it actually creates an app, and you get it out there, and it works perfectly well. And it's probably really well formatted because the AI is really good at formatting the code. But it's not necessarily the latest framework or the latest libraries that it picks up. It picks the one that works. And then you get it into security, and the security people go like, I have to take care of this. So introducing something along with the basic automated scans in this to actually help explain the CV all the way out to the IDE for the developers, so they can pick up their SAST scans maybe, and it gets closer to them. And then depending on the complexity of how to solve this, and maybe if there are more than one way to solve this, you might only get an explanation on how to solve it, or maybe even the AI can actually just create an MR, do the code changes, and then present the new code for approval and review. And then why not let the AI be the reviewer of the code as well? At least the first one, and then you have a second one that's a human being maybe. And then in the end, when it comes to transparency, why not have an AI sit in the back end and watch what the AI does? So, and also watch how the developers, the SREs or whoever, how they interact with the AI, how they use it. Is it worth the money that we put in? So get an end-to-end visibility into this. And one thing that I've received a lot of questions is what's up there as root cause analysis. Anyone had a failed pipeline and you scratch your head and wonder what went wrong? And you only have 5,000 lines of log to look through and see what went wrong. How about a troubleshoot button? I mean, the AI should be there. Just go through it. Give me the solution. How hard can it be? Well, it definitely reads the log file faster than I do. And I'm a pretty fast reader, but not to that level. So this is what we are trying to figure out. But I think that there's still a distinction between AI and automation. And I think it's to support the AI in all of these function, we also need to have the automated DevSecOps flow in place. And that might be like enforced scans, so you actually get CVs into the system automatically without anyone having to implement it. Maybe it should be a company rule that whatever project we open up, there should be SAST, DAST, security scans and dependency scans and stuff like that. And then when we get there, we can use the AI, apply that on whatever CVEs that comes in there. And that there might be several scanners that we use. So just collect that data, the CVEs, into one bucket and then take care of it. So in the end, we are delivering to the business, to the developers, to the security, making life easier for them with the help of AI by covering the whole change, by using as well as enterprise models as open source models, maybe MCP, to connect to other sources that we might need to perform this. But in the end, get AI to work in all the parts of the dev, the SDLC, the software developer lifecycle. So, I mean, you can pick and choose how you do this. Working for GitLab, we have GitLab Duo that actually does all of the things that I just said in the platform. And it can also help other tools externally to do this if you store the code in the platform. So yeah, that's kind of all I had for now. I'm in the booth also if you want to drop by and ask me questions and challenge the stuff, because we don't have time here. I'm 2 minutes over, so you're more than welcome over there. I know some of you have already been there. We've had really good discussions, so just come on over and thank you for me.